Hello everyone, another Odoo Insider Show. I know it's only me this time. We had we were really lucky to have Fabien last week. I know you asked a lot of questions, maybe sometimes a bit more related to strategy, vision, the evolution of the product. So it was not so much a functional or technical session with some questions that are how to use Odoo, but more like what is the future of Odoo. But anyway, it was cool to have him on board, have a first session with him. I hope that we'll have a possibility to have him a second time next year, maybe. We never know. But it was quite cool and a lot of viewers also for this session. So maybe before we introduce the session of today, quick reminder, you know that you can have a look at the previous episodes here by clicking on that link. Then it brings you back to all the different links that we had. The one with Fabien will be brought. Yeah, will be updated by Arthur, I suppose, this week or today. And then maybe a quick look at some of the agenda. The next few weeks, I think it will be only me talking about functional and technical questions. I know that there's one session that you'd like to have with Winand. You know Winand is very famous for his job on the accounting and the session that he has during the Odoo experience. We are going to talk about the e-invoicing. I think it's in 2 weeks. And then, in the meantime, I think that there are lots of other events that you can participate at Odoo. First one, maybe a bit lighter in terms of work. It is that we have that gaming event at Odoo, organized also partly at least by Arthur, so it's his baby. Lots of fun, more like a moment where you can relax, but also compete maybe with other Odooers that you see online, and maybe other partners. You want to say a word? Yes?
Just feel free to join. It's totally free. It's really nice in Odoo LLM. If you cannot join Partner Day, just join Odoo Arena.
Okay, good one. Then we have, of course, the biggest event that we organize every year, the Odoo Experience. You see it is in French, again, every time that we start. This show, I have to change my settings so that I can go back to US English, or at least to English. And there you have the event. You know it will be amazing. You know it will be, again, bigger than last time. It will be full of conferences, different experiences that we offer every time. A few concerts in the night, keynotes, so you get it, you know it. It will be the main event of this year as usual. Generally speaking, I don't think that I talk about that much. You have a page on Odoo where you can see all the events, and there are events everywhere all the time. Odoo roadshows, Odoo academies where you can learn for free in one of the Odoo offices or close to those offices. So stay tuned on that page because there are lots of events that we organize, usually around the corner next to your place. All right, I see that for the time I was talking, there were already a few questions that were asked. Returning customer, let's say Salia went to me. Hello, is it possible to display a custom module with Studio in the user portal? No, not with Studio, though you can do it on the SaaS. So what I'm struggling with, because it's normal, is that sometimes when people ask, is it possible with Studio? If it's not possible through the Studio interface, I'm going to say no. And I understand your question like this. Is it possible through the Studio interface? My answer is no. Then comes something that is close to Studio, that is the website editor. Because it looks a bit like Studio, you have a drag and drop features, and those are kind of things that you can do. But I'm going to show you on a test environment, I think like I'm on 18.2, so a SaaS version, one of the last ones that we released. By the way, we just upgraded our own Odoo environment 2 days ago to 18.2. So odoo.com is already upgraded. So the scripts are very soon available for those of you that are on the SaaS. So I suppose that what you want to accomplish is change a few of those pages. Maybe I should have something that is a bit more interesting in terms of what I can see, because here, of course, it's empty. Do we have any project? Yeah, okay, let's go there. All right, can you change that? The only way I see would be to click on the edit button here and see what you can add. And in fact, when you start drag and dropping stuff, you see the highlight zone and there's nothing inside here. So that place where nothing is inside, that's because this is coming from a dynamic template that we can find back in the code on GitHub if necessary. But we didn't leave it so easy for you to change the different columns that you have, same as with the columns that you may have on a list view, for example. So if I duplicate this and I go back in the backend, and we have a look at the same kind of information. So we are in a project and we see the task of a project, if I remember well. So we go in that place, we have a few tasks. It's a list view. You see a few things like those ones, and you know that with Studio you can adapt that view. But there, this is not possible. with Studio or with the editor, so no drag and drop. Now, if you are asking Studio because you want to stay on the SaaS and you feel like, okay, Studio is the ultimate tool, 99% of the time, or let's say 95, a bit less, it is correct, but there's always a way to not sneak, because you will need the Studio or the custom pricing of Odoo, but there's a possibility to improve this if you know how to do it. I've been covering that several times during the different sessions that we had together. You know that what we have on the website on the front end is a view. If I type view here, I'm not going to get anything because I need to be in debug mode. Going back, I have a look at the views. I think that last time we even changed that very same view on the task. I have a feeling that we did that. So again, on the website, it's always going to be a QWeb view. And then we need to find one that interests us. Usually they have portal in the name, because everything that is portal is everything that you have here under my account and the sub pages that you will find. And so here, if I'm looking for tasks, something, yeah, task list, is it the one that we have here that I know? I'm going to make that a bit bigger. Let's try. I see no project, no milestones. Is this one? Because it's project, I'm inside a project, it's internal. We have tasks here. Is there a place where we can name assignee? We can try a little trick that you may know. I will just put a 2 here just to see if that's the right view. Yeah, assignees too. You see, I'm changing the view like this, not through Studio, but through a bit of knowledge and technical abilities, knowing how things work. So you can change that by creating a new inherited views. You see that we have already a few, and then you can improve this. But it's always a bit of, when you don't know how to do it, a bit of trial and error, or getting some help from someone of Odoo or one of your colleagues or another partner, so that we teach you how to do that. Again, it's a possibility. Technically speaking, you can have 20 different views on the SaaS. What we recommend though is that when you start, and I'm always referring to those 10 hours limit, when you start developing a lot on the SaaS, what is really troubling is that the development that you are going to propose, you don't manage the project management part of the development. So it's easy for me to add a new line, create a new view, add a few new columns in the view that we will have right here. The issue is that 2-3 years down the road, if I'm not there anymore and we don't know why I did that, chances are super high that I didn't comment my code or the view. And so the next person that will have to take care of the upgrade will be like, okay, but I don't know what that person wanted to accomplish here. So usually when you do that on the SaaS, because it's very permissive, you are going to do it in a good way technically, but in a bad way in terms of project management, which kind of GitHub allows, but restrains, because in GitHub, when you want to do something, there's very often a flow of review. You have someone that is going to have a look at the code. You need to explain why you do it. So that's why I would say if you have more than 10 hours, that's the limit that we put internally here for the clients that we have. If we have more than 10 hours of development or such a view customization on the SaaS, we move to Odoo SH, because then it's a different kind of project. So just to give you a bit of an idea here. So Saliha, you cannot do it with Studio, but you can do it on the SaaS. Please keep that idea of having a limit of 10, 15, maybe 20 hours. But at some point, if you really want to make big changes, rely on existing modules and go on Odoo SH. Okay, next question in line. I see Arthur is giving me the list of all the questions that you have. So I'm going to say that LinkedIn, we have Muhammad that is asking, Odoo CRM, is it a good tool for global sales agency sales team for airline tickets, for example? Why not? I don't see why it wouldn't be one. You have different teams, you can manage opportunities, you have the possibility to create quotes after that, you have the workflow that comes after. I would be curious of knowing what are the different types of features that you would have that would make you think that Odoo would be a wrong tool for that, but to me, it's a perfect tool for those kind of demands. Another question on LinkedIn from Amr. Hi Odoo, my question is, can I work at Odoo please? It'd be a dream. I can do marketing and sales roles. Yes, you can. So not the first time I have that question, and it's true, it's a dream, right, Arthur? Let's cut that part so that we send it to our manager after, and so they see that we say out loud that it's a dream. All right?
It's quite nice.
It's quite nice. It is true. We don't have to complain. It's very good. We work on a very, very good product. And I think that's. I remember from last week, I've seen a few screenshots of Fabien showing a few internal documents, and I'm really glad that he does it. I won't do that now, but I remember one. This is very important. When we ask the the people inside Odoo what they like about the company. The first one that get the highest rating is the product. So people that are working for Odoo are really motivated by the product and what we do as a mission, and that is crazy. I don't know if it's the same for the other companies out there, whether they work at I don't know, it could be Facebook, Microsoft, or even some smaller players that have a product like ours, but that is what is making us move.
I'm here for the company car.
Or you could be here for the company car. Yeah, you love stickers. That's the idea. You love the stickers.
Yeah, purple sticker. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that maybe you can think about shipping the stickers to the people. But so I was going here just to show this about the job. Different ways to enter at Odoo. This one is for, I would say, 99% of everyone, unless you have someone that you know that can introduce you to someone during a chat, a lunch, or whatever. The best way to get hired at Odoo is to go on the odoo.com/jobs. You have the departments in which you want to work for, and as you can see, we still have many open positions. It means here we recruit more than 1,000 people at the moment. So I don't think there are lots of companies that can claim that we recruit that much. Of course, you will see that it's really office dependent. Let me check. You have here all offices. Let me check the one where we recruit a lot. Brisbane, United States. I think there's an error. Do we have Brisbane in United States? That doesn't ring a bell to me. So that's maybe something else. Hong Kong a lot. Yeah, that is where we are at the moment with Arthur. So you see, we have lots of different places where we recruit. Brazil, Dubai. So, and every time for different roles. So like if I have a look at what we have here in Belgium, so that is for development, those three, I suppose. Let's go back here. And we recruit influencer marketing, business analysts, account managers, and so you see lots of people we recruit. Here I'm checking that with my own connected users, so it could be that I see previous positions that are closed, but anyway, we still have really a lot of places where we recruit. So that's the place where you need to go if you want to get recruited. Another question now on LinkedIn from Saliha. Is it possible to display information from a custom module in the website? Enterprise version 18. Yes, it is possible, but again, it will be a bit of extra development. Kind of the same way I was explaining for the portal. So if you have, we can maybe do that. Let me check. Do I have one here? Let me check if I can have something like this. But here I think that we don't have on this particular module that is hotel management. I was making a demo to someone else on Odoo SH a few days ago, and I decided to do it based on a few modules that I already installed here, version 17. But I think that here everything is based on new objects like vehicles, feed vehicle, and for those ones we don't have an easy way that I can quickly demonstrate on how we can add some information. Maybe the other one that I have usually, let me check if I can quickly, very quickly on my side here, find another project on which I have this ID. If you remember well, that's one I'm always showing with the first name. Yeah, we have that here. The problem is that I need to refresh it, that partner first name thing. So can we update previous build, use default? No. Install a list of modules, and I will say CRM first. I'm doing this so that it's faster once I rebuild. So I'm going to save the changes that I have there. It's in version 17, that's all right. Okay, and then that is the one I want to change. It's going to be a bit long for Saliha, so I don't know if I'm going to make the whole demo around this. Yeah, I know Brisbane is in Australia. That's why I said I was having a look at Brisbane, United States. I was like, okay, that's weird. So I don't know if it's an error of display in the website. I suppose it is because we don't plan to open another office in Australia. Okay, partner first name. I was saying, let's go into the builds and let's go here, rebuild. It's going to take a few minutes before we can play with this. Hopefully my goal here is to show Saliha that with a specific module that is about the partner first name and last name, I would be able to add a new field on the front end. I'm taking one that I know is changing a model that I can access quickly on the front end. So in order to ease the demo, you know that I'm trying to cover and answer as many questions as I can. Okay, it is red, but is it possible to connect? That I don't mind. That is going to be a nightmare. But 16, 17, it should supposed to be working. So why is it not? Invalid manifest. Okay, so there's a thing with the version of that manifest. All right, that is a quick change. It's good we discover other things. That is another one. Very, very often you see that is why in the manifest that we have here, last time I changed the version, and Odoo is quite strict now. So it's going to give me a red bullet here, and it's going to tell me, hey, the module has an invalid manifest. Simply, sometimes it's just because of the version. So let me go back to my thing here. It is first name. I will go in the only module that I have. It's funny because it was with the one we made with Stan like 9 months ago. It was the Odoo SH session that we had together. I will go in the manifest and I will change that. I think that's why we are there with that error. I will move it to 7. Oh, yes, first edit. I will move it here to 17. It's just a control that is made from on Odoo. I don't know if it started in version 16 or 17, but it's quite recent, let's say in Odoo's history. Changing version name. Okay, we can keep it that way. Commit the change. As you know, as I'm committing, GitHub is exchanging with Odoo SH. So now on Odoo SH, it's going to take a few seconds, for rebuilding my module. All right. Let's look. And I was saying that my goal here with this one is that it is changing the notion of what is a partner. It adds a first name and a last name. We can see that also if we go here, you have a look at the models, REST partner and REST users. And REST user, we know that at the beginning we already have at least one view where we see the REST users on the portal because or the REST partner when you can change your information. So that's maybe the one I would like to focus on, just to quickly show that it's possible to add a field. I hope it's not going to take too long. But while it's building here, I'm checking if one of the other questions I can answer it without a demo. That's fun. Good selection, because there's another question from Nicolos that is saying, is there a standardized way to separate first name and last name from partners? Good. Thanks for that selection, Arthur. So that is the point here of that module. So as you can guess, it's an extra module of the community. Come on, it's not accepting my thing here now. Let's see what it is telling me. And it's not at the installation, it's here. What else do we have? I think that I have to create a new build. I wouldn't be surprised that that's the issue. Sometimes you see, I think that I'm on the same occurrence of the server I wanted to start, so I'm going to say new build, and I'm starting once again. If I cannot, I will have to skip this one and explain it with my words, with a demo that won't be super perfect. Let's try to go there again. And let's try to see if that is any better. And so, yes, there is a standardized way to separate first name and last name from partners. Yes, so the module that we have here does that. And if you have a look at how it is done, I'm showing here technically while the database is building. We introduce a new first name field, a new last name field, and we say that the usual name that we had before will be a computation of the first name and the last name. And you see here how it is done. We have a compute thing where we simply, I would say, return thing where we say how is it computed. We give the last name and the first name as an argument, and it sounds silly, but you will see that there are different places or different ways of computing names. I think that in French we have first name then last name. Maybe in Anglo-Saxon countries it will be last name then first name, and then you have lots of other countries, even in the US, where you have a middle name. So should we take that into account and have also another one? You see, that's why we have a notion of getting the name order. We have cleaning the white space, a few other things. So that's what the module does. And if it impacts the partner, it impacts also you as a user, as the users depend on the partner, like we say, inherit from a partner. Let's retry this one. It seems to be working. Yes, good. So here I'm going to install my application first name, last name, and you will see what it is. It's always the example I take. I'm sorry for the ones that think, okay, it's repetitive. It's every 2 months we have a discussion about first name, last name, just because it's an easy one to test. And also, not knowing the difference of level. We don't know all of you guys. I think this one is a very, very good introduction to, okay, what is a new field? How can I quickly install something? I want to use Odoo SH. How can I add quickly a module? So you've seen the struggle here. This one, the version was wrong. This one, I reused the build that I already had, but apparently there was an error remaining, so I prefer to start on a new build, and now it is working. It is working partially. What do we have here? Invalid view in the base config. So maybe I don't know why, but apparently the module here in version 17, maybe I have the wrong module by the way, but in that version it means that we try to install a module and somewhere there's a view that doesn't work in terms of view that it tries to change. And we can, I will redo it here, and we can see usually what's wrong here. It's telling me that we have an invalid view because we try on that view partner name orders. There's a config parameter here. I don't know why, because I installed that one several times already, but I don't know what are all the modifications that we made. So again, what we can do is quickly have a look at this one. Is there a way that I can find quickly that view, partner first name view, base config view? Okay, let's do something very, very drastic. Let's try this. So I'm saying don't load that view because maybe I don't need it. Knowing it's a config view, usually those config, I will show where they are. But usually they are the config view, the rest config stuff is right here. So those are the rest config views. So I don't know why Odoo is telling me, hey, there's an error. I don't know why there's an error on that module, but that's not the topic of the day. Let's try to install it. If it doesn't work, I abandon. Okay, that's another one. So maybe, yeah, state attribute. All right, my guess from the error that I can see here, my guess is that it's really a v16 module that I'm trying to push in version 17 while the code is version 16. I don't remember. That branch has been used for a long time now, so I'm not sure about this one. What I could do, if really I want to push it further, because it's also the goal of this session, if really that's it, and that error makes me believe it, because it's saying, you know, you are trying to use the attrs, which is an attribute that we had in the past on the views, or states, and they don't work now on version 17. So if it's in the code, it means that the code is not from version 17, and I guess I simply forgot that this module, we played a little bit with it with Stan, we moved it from 16 to 17 while it's not correctly done. So I think that's simply it. What we can do, and really that's also because I really like, I don't like to be defeated. Let's have a look at this one. I'm going on odoo.com on the apps because that's where you will see the first name module. At the same time, while I'm installing this, I see a question from YouTube. Ravi is asking major differences between Zoho CRM and Odoo CRM. I don't know because I never used Zoho, but you can be sure that we are better, right? We are better. I see Arthur is saying, yeah. No, but huh? Yes, that is true.
We have white papers,
but that is a good point. My God, I'm forgetting that.
And we have accounting NL that is happening in maximum few months in print, and digitally it's a question of weeks.
Okay, so it would be, I will try naively. That is it. That is a good question, thanks, and a good answer. So that is where you need to go. You will see lots of things, comparisons. I'm not going through that now. You have a bit of reading, and that is maybe, generally speaking, a good point. A quick Google search. I should have started with that, by the way, but thanks for the for the idea. We have books like those ones, and by the way, that is also done in Belgium. Those kind of comparisons. Can you explain us more about that?
So I'm basically in charge of editing it.
Good.
So I can speak a bit about it if you want.
Yeah, go. I'm struggling with the partner first name. Do it. While I'm struggling with the installation of the module, you can do it.
I don't have much to say, but,
yeah, but
basically white papers are somehow here to help you choose whether or not, like, if Odoo is good for you, basically. because we don't want to fit everybody. We just want to fit your needs if it can. That's it. But we don't force ourselves. So basically, we list all the features we have, and we compare it with other competitors, maybe also features they have we don't have. So we try our best to do it. That's it. I don't know if you have other
that is good. We have how many white papers do we have? Do you know?
We have e-commerce, point of sale. We have project management that is not there yet, but that will come.
Okay.
So yeah, project, e-commerce, point of sale, accounting.
Okay.
There's basically 5 right now, and it's expanding more and more.
Okay.
HR we have as well.
Very good. So lots of differences you can witness and have a look at. All right, that's good. At the same time, while you are saying this, on my side, I'm trying to have a look at, you see here, I'm on the same module that I had. I have the possibility to download it. I could go and download and replace the content or deploy on Odoo SH on a new environment, but I know that if I do this, my issue is that it will say new build and it's going to launch a test. It's going to take 20 minutes. So I'm thinking about downloading, and doing something very, very drastic here. Downloading this one. So it downloaded my thing here, and I'm going to very, very aggressively, don't do that at home because it's, I think that developers would kill me for what I'm doing. Yeah. So I'm reading at the same time. Arthur is making me big signs. Hey, you have another question that is related to this. It would be. Yeah. Would be great if Odoo provides an official app or native functionality for the first name and last name support to avoid this one. I know. I don't have a fixed opinion about that. Would be maybe better, but people that say it's better, they don't realize that it's better for a small use case, which is usually marketing related, compared to the difficulty of making this work with the rest of the data model that we have. So, and that's human behavior in general. You think about your use case, and so it is so important that you neglect the other use cases that are, I think, in terms of representation, in percentage, in importance, bigger. I'm not saying that it's a wrong use case that you have. I'm saying that I would be curious about having this one always. You see there are lots of downloads on this one, but I'm curious about how much it is really useful. I would like that we have a solution, maybe not this one, but that we have a solution for people and accounts we call clients and suppliers. That would be different if it's a company or not, but that's another topic. So I'm trying, while I'm discussing with you guys, I'm trying to find something where I can directly impact my partner first name, last name here, without showing too much, because I know that sometimes I have a few files on my computer that I cannot typically show. It's not very, very super important, but I'm doing my best. So I wanted to go where I have this one. So it's Odoo SH test. I'm not even sure I have it. Odoo SH test. I'm trying. Let's see if that is the correct one, so that I can completely replace it. I'm going to show you the end result if it works. Okay, and so we have here, the one I want is app partner first name. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm having the module that is a bit the old one right here, and I'm doing something very nasty, so please don't tell the developers I told you that this would be a good idea. I'm going to here reuse my zip file, and I'm going to replace that all. I'm removing this, putting this there, and that is the updated version. I think it will be working. I'm checking if I'm committing quickly here on my side, just to see if that's good. Okay, it changed file in added new ones. I'm going to push now, and so we should see a change if I didn't make any mistake. Rejected for what? Yeah, I should have done something different. Should have pulled first. Is there a way to force? Yes, I did something very wrong. Hopefully I didn't show it on the screen, but it's just to force a few things. If it doesn't work, I swear I go to the next question. But just to mention here, that's for going back to this notion of partner first name, last name. I know it's a need, and I think you will find a lot of other ones like those ones that can be discussed. Like it's a matter of opinion. There's not a truly more important way, like first name, last name or not. And that is also why we have so many extra modules. I'm always mentioning the OCA because that is the module that I took from the Odoo Community Association, where you have lots of extra modules. I think this one is part of the contact repository. So you go in partner contact, then you will find the first name, last name, which is the one that I'm using that I was taking from here. It's really where it's coming from. Okay, let's see if no, I'm trying to do that and now I lost it. It's saying still new build. Yes, I forced it. Let's see. I'm going to let that go, see when the build is ready, and I will go back to Salia's question. Okay, going back here to YouTube, Atef is asking, in the mail activity model and the view that displays my scheduled activities, I was unable to add 2 fields. The person who assigned me the task and the project to which the activity is linked. Okay, let's try this. So, where do I have? Yeah, this one could be good. Mail activity model. Okay, the mail activity model, you have it here. Activity, yeah. Let's check. Yeah, it seems to be the one. Let me go back in debug so that we can confirm that together. Yes, here it's mail activity. That's the one that you have. And what you want, it displays your scheduled activities. Okay, it's maybe not the one that you want. There you have the activity overview, but maybe you are talking about another one in a specific place. Tell me, because I think that for activities, here you have the reporting. It's not the next one that you are going to have, or you have a part of that, but I guess it's not where you want to have them. Let me check if there are other activity places, plans, types. No, okay, I think, or my activities, that's maybe where you are talking about that. Let's create a new one. I'm going to create a new activity on one of my leads. It will be an activity for myself. All right, let's go here. Let's create a new activity. Quick to do for me. Yes, go, and then I have this. That's maybe what you're talking about, which, by the way, let me duplicate this one. It's another way to show the activities that we have. I think I will go there manually. Over here, then we have technical, then we have discuss, blah, blah, activities, overview. That's, it was not plural form, so that's why I couldn't find it. Okay, so you see, it's the same information, it's just displayed differently. Here's the technical part where we have a few, well, fields are different. And here's the part that is in the CRM available to everyone. Of course, this part is only visible for, let's say, admins and technicians. So if you want to add a few things like 2 fields, the person who assigned me the task and the project to which the activity is linked. So the person that assigned you the task, that is easy because it will be the creation, the person that created it. So we can add a field and use an existing field. Let's see if the creation, created by, we can use it. And we know who assigned it to you. And if you don't like the created by, you can replace that by changing maybe the label that we have, and we say assigned by, because that typically you say, yeah, it's not an assignation, it's a creation, but in the end that's the same notion. So it was assigned by me for me. Very good. All right. Okay. Now the second part is a bit more complicated because you want to see. What was the second point? I forgot it. You want to see the record it is linked to. That is a bit trickier because in fact the record it is linked to, we are going to enter a quick technical zone here, but there are a few places where you have what we call many-to-ones. For example, contact. I'm going to explain that. Country, I select Andorra. Very good, I'm from Andorra, and that is a many-to-one. You have many contacts that can be linked to one country. It's 2-1 is easy because it means there's only one value that you can put in that field. It's one country only. And then you have other things like many-to-manys, like this one where you can have several tags, and that you have several values. And then you have one-to-manys where you have, on the contact form it's easy, you have many-to-one here, many-to-many here, and one too many over there. You have one main contact that can have several addresses or other contacts. So you have the three different relational fields that we have here. But that works well when you always have the same model linked to the same model. Like we have here a REST partner linked to a REST country, a REST partner linked to a REST partner category, or a REST partner linked to another REST partner. And that means it's always the same kind of relationship. It's always the two models. How do we make that work in models / object that need to be used Odoo-wide? Like the chatter messages, they can be used on any type of model. They can be same for the activities, same for the attachments. So those three things, and there are others, I'm sure, like the external IDs, they can be used for different on different models. So we need to find a way, if not a trick, to make that work on different in different places. And you will see it's always the same trick, which is smart, by the way. If we go to the attachment, you are going to see it. Let's select any, do we have a PDF that will help? Yes, if we have the quote here, you will see how we do that. We link it to a resource ID and as a model. So we say the resource model we are going to link that PDF to is a sale order, but which one is it? Is the number one. You see, here you see the resource ID. It looks like it's a many to one, but it's not. It's just a number that is behind. So the SO number one here would be the first ID. If I click here, it will lead me to the SO number one, but that's kind of a reference field. Maybe we can see it. The type is many-to-one reference, so that's why it's working that way. Before that, we didn't use many-to-one reference. If I go back on version 16 or 15, it was purely an ID. But it's good that it's a many-to-one reference, because maybe then I have an answer for you. If we go here and I want to show the record it is linked to, let me check if it's not already the case. No, it is there. We have the opportunity. Okay. Let's do that on maybe the other view that is more generic, because of course here we know it's an opportunity. We are in the sales. My activities, it will always be related to opportunities. Let's do it on the other place. That would be activity overview. That's the one, because there we see we have document name. We have a summary, and I think, yeah, document. We cannot click it. Let's try to see if I can add that there by adding the resource, the document model, REST model ID. Yes, I think that's it. Okay, all right. So that is good. That's I like that search, because it shows me this. You have a model, you have an ID. And if you have the model and the ID, you identify only one record in the database, like the ID 15 of sale order. It's the sale order number 15, it's easy. And that's how it works. And I think that those two information allow us to find this one, and it's a direct link to the document. Let's try it. No, it's only the document model ID, so I won't be able to click on it. Let's try here if I have the same kind of notion as on the attachment. And for this, I can go back maybe. Yeah, here it's not the same. It's a many-to-one reference. Do we have a many-to-one reference type on the activities? Let's try this. We can go in the models, activity. Sorry, mail activity. That's it. And do we have a field that is that many-to-one reference? Yeah, it's res ID. Okay, I will take this one instead. Let's try the res ID up. Okay, and then that's something that can be selected. All right, so that's maybe what you need. I don't remember who asked that. Let's try it again here. Let's remove this one because I don't need it in the end. Remove from view, yes. And then let's again use a res ID. I'm not sure this will work well for one reason. Is that I don't know if the click here, that's another maybe step in the reasoning. The click on the line usually opens a form view, while the click on the line, when I was in the CRM, my activities here, the click on the line opens directly the item, because it's always the same. It's always an opportunity. So I'm not sure we can have the same kind of usability there. We can try, and in order to know that, maybe the best is usually to have a look at this view and see how it is formatted to see if there's a way we can have the same behavior. Otherwise, it will be 2 clicks instead of 1 to get to the right place. Here, an opportunity. There, something different. That is another document. That is here what journal. Okay, so last try for this one. Let's check here what we have in terms of view. It's a list view. Do we have something like we know what we want to open? Inherited view, serial list opportunity. Okay. But that's fun. But that's why. Wait. Okay. In fact, this one is not even an activity view. It's just the leads for which we show the activity. So it's not the same. So I think that's not something that we can reproduce. But you can have it in 2 steps. Tag here to join the right document. If you have one place, is with the general activities. Let me check now if this one is ready. Let's try again. And as I said, if it doesn't work, I abort. Let me close a few things here because I've been very, very optimistic about the amount of tabs I could open. Okay, first name again. That one I will keep. This one as well. That I can show close. Okay, all right. Then it seems it was working. Let me check because I'm not sure now. Do we have my app first name last name installed? Yes, it is there. So we add an extra thing about having, was it in the CRM? Visit to leads, no, in general settings. Where would we have that? Yes, first name, last name. That's where you can choose the order that you want, first name, last name, or with a comma. So that is the resconfig parameter I was telling you about. So the application is installed. Now if I go in the contacts, maybe I need to refresh my view. If I create a new one and I say it's an individual, then you have Antoine, yes, Uvel, that is me. And then you see, that's the opposite. Whoops. That is it. And of course, company, it remains just a unique name field. And this one is a last name, first name. And that's what you get and that you can use. And this one now, the question was, can I, based on that extra field, can I improve the experience and add a few things on the portal, for example? And the answer was yes, I'm going to add the website on top of this. So while the website is getting installed, quick refresher, we struggled with version 16 that you tried to install on version 17. I realized it a bit later, played a bit with the manifest, and then I said, let's re-download the version 17, erase the previous version that I had in my module and branch on Odoo in a way that is not nice. That was very, very drastic, but for going faster for the demo, so that I could show what really mattered, which is this part of installing the module and then going here to go further on my account. And that's what I was saying here. You see, you have some information over there that is in a view. It's the right-hand side. I can click on edit and then I have something else here. And that information, we need to find where it is located, that details thing, either this view or this view. On the right side, I think it's maybe going to be easier. We have some button here, edit information. I can maybe browse to find where it is located. So it's, that one, href, my account. I think it's going to help me find the right view. Again, I need to be in debug. Okay. Views, again, we go in QWeb. Okay, and then we have, I said we have something where we see my account somewhere in the architecture. Okay, that's one of those two, the site content. That must be the one. Okay, and then what I can try is to be very, very naive. And yes, you have the partner ID information with extra things. I'm going to add a T field. I don't know if you can add the field like this, otherwise I will select the T row and say user ID dot first name. I should have a first name by now. Let's see. It's telling me you have a mistake. And what's the error? It's not T field, not T element. Yes, I can do a span, in fact. Does that work? Yes, and then I have Mitchell that is showing here. So I can reuse that information. The fact that it is, and some of you that are experienced, you will say, of course you can do it. That's the whole point. So even though I have my extra module that is made by someone else, I can reuse that information because I changed the data model, so I can use that first name information. Of course, that won't work if now I uninstall the first name, last name module. I'm going to get an error. Why? Because I won't have this in my data model while I'm still calling it on the view. So if I'm trying to load this view while I uninstalled my other module, it will fail. Potentially it's going to run for a while until you delete that module. So that's why the best is to, if you want to bring that change, you don't do that the way I did it here. I did it so that it's something I can show it's working, but the best way is not to put it there. It would be to put it in an inherited view that gets installed either by a change that you brought in the module with first name, last name, or a module that comes on top of first name, last name, and it goes even on top of first name, last name, and website, so that when you install that module that contains that specific view, that would in the end here say, let's add this. Of course, spoiler alert, you know that this is not sufficient. I need to give a name here. I need to also give some data, then XPath information to make this work. That's another story. We've covered that previously, and I'm sure today I will have another example of a XPath to create. But what I mean is, if you want to do this, the best way is to create a view that contains maybe just that little change, and that says in that module, I'm existing or installable on your database only if I have first name and last name installed and the website installed, because without those two, I cannot exist on my own. So that would be the idea. All right, it was a bit long, this one. And I have Arthur next to me saying, yeah, it was a bit long. Yes, okay, let's go to next one from Nesta. Yes, we have a long list of questions. It's good. Yeah, but we can stay until 4 p.m. No? So YouTube, Nesta is saying, are there free or low-cost training resources available in multiple languages, particularly those spoken by refugee communities? It depends, because it's a bit vague. I think that you have lots of refugee communities that speak different languages. But what you can do, and it's not, I must be honest, it's not made by Odoo. If you go on odoo.com, the first level of thing that you can do is having a look at the documentation here for the user doc. And of course, that user doc, let's go here. You must have, you have lots of languages there. But if you cannot, if none of your languages that you speak are here, take English and ask a system like Google Translate to translate it for you. So that would work. Same notion on odoo.com/slides, where we have the tutorials and the videos. That's a bit different, but let's have a look at, let's say, the Studio module. So if you want to learn Studio, possibility here would be to go on any video. Of course, you have a bit of text, and that text you cannot translate it because it's a picture, it's not JPEG, but another format. You have usually subtitles that you can enforce and select subtitles. Here you have only English, and it's auto-generated. But that would help, at least if you speak English, which I believe, since you asked me the question in English. But otherwise, text-based, it would be on thanks to translation tools with Google inside Chrome. That would work as well. Another question from Mark on LinkedIn. Great session. Can I build rapid apps with AI with Odoo? Merci. Greets from Zurich. Yes, with AI with Odoo. Yes, kind of you can. I remember, like, at the beginning, I don't remember now when ChatGPT was something new. It's not anymore, but like, was it already 2 years ago that we started using ChatGPT? 2020, okay, already maybe 3 years. Let me check if I can add on my side, because it's a decision that we made like a very long time ago on our side. It's to use Gmail, and so in Gmail, or as we use Google Tools, or AI tool on our side is Gemini or Gemini. I'm not sure on how to pronounce it, so I'm going to open a prompt of that. Let me check here. So you see it, yeah, there I have a prompt for Gemini. 2020 already? 5 years? Okay. Wow. I feel old. Okay, so there you have a prompt, and I don't know how Gemini is working well with Odoo, but I remember that from ChatGPT I was quite impressed because you could, it can accelerate your development in different ways. Let's try, because really it's completely naive approach as again. I don't even know if I can write it that way. I want to develop a sports team application on Odoo. Can you create the data model that would be required? Maybe I should specify in Python. I don't know, and we'll see if it succeeds or not. Data model in Python that will be required for defining what is a team. Beam. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So you see, I need to check. It's going to be, I would love to do it, but it's going to be a bit long if I want to retry that and copy paste it very quickly. That we should have a session just on that. But I would be surprised to take this one, put it in a module. Yeah, you have improvement explanations. That's crazy. And generate. It's funny because when I talk to that kind of thing, I always want to start with please, while we don't care. They don't care at all. Can you generate the manifest of that module? Voila. Okay, so you have already a few files that you can use, a bit of copy pasting, and of course, I'm pretty sure that the issue with that is that it makes you believe that everything is always good in what they generate. I think it's pretty damn good, but when you have an error, if you don't know, it's harder to debug because you trust blindly Gemini for generating it. So that's one way of doing. If you remember well, a few months ago, we had a session, a technical session with Emanuele, and Emanuele is using VS Code, VS Studio, and he's using the tool. Then I suppose it's Microsoft, so Copilot, that is directly embedded in it, so that it's helping him writing faster by proposing things, and you tab so that you see the proposition like in your mailbox on Google or on Microsoft. You have a proposition that is made with a different opacity so that you see what is going to be generated, and you can say yes or no. And that goes way faster as well. And I think that it takes time to write this. So what it does is that it will help you write faster. Now, making the right decisions, I'm not sure, but that's the kind of thing that you can do. The part where I'm copy pasting is not what is going to take me long. Maybe I could ask something else like remind me of the correct structure of a module folder. That's correct. So that you could, that is correct. Let me check. So yeah, test, yes. Controllers, data models, yeah, and that is correct. It looks correct to me, but yes. So that would help you with also how to create it. We have tools. We have a scaffolding system that allows you to create directly an empty shell of a module, so that you can get started, and then in the end copy paste what you had here. But globally speaking, I cannot say now that I'm impressed, because it has been, as Arthur was saying, 5 years already. But at the beginning, I was like, okay, it's quite interesting what it can generate for you. So you could be using that to speed up the development, but it doesn't remove the fact that you still need to think about what to do there. Okay. Yeah, okay. It was open for public in 2022 and beta in 2020. Oh yeah. Okay, good. On Twitch, another question. Let's say you have a system where an invoice that is not fully paid on time is penalized in the form of an extra fee on the document itself. However, because a partial payment has been reconciled with the invoice and some accounting restricted fields will need to be changed on the record for this penalty application, Odoo restrict this. How it will say on the record that you need to reconcile first. What would you recommend to accomplish this? Is there a better way? Yes, on my side, I don't know how much you can change already something that has been validated. So I'm I'm maybe not 100% correct here, and that's a good question for 2 weeks in 2 weeks when we have Renan, because maybe he has a different answer to this than me. But my basic knowledge in accounting tells me that usually a document like an invoice cannot be changed once it is issued. And if you have interest rates, they will be included in a second invoice that you send 1 month later. So in your example, I would say the first invoice that you have, if it's partially paid, very good. You then have another invoice that contains the extra fee, and that one will maybe grow. Or have again another invoice. And what you send to your client is the statement of what they owe you, which is a mix of different invoices. Part of the first invoice, second invoice that is a reminder, with maybe the cost of sending the letter. We all have received that in our life. Maybe a third invoice again with smaller amounts, but that are a percentage of the first one or the unpaid first one. Then you have different rules. But the easiest way in Odoo would be don't unreconcile and change the content of first invoice. I don't even know if you can, because technically you have an invoice that has a number, and then you change the amount that you have inside. I don't know if that's technically acceptable. But if you create new invoices, and that is maybe easier in Odoo, you create a new invoice with a button or something that is automated every month or so, and you say, okay, there are penalty fees, and it's a percentage of the invoice or a flat amount, and base the amount on the total amount of the previous invoice, and that should be working. On Twitch again, we have J Trust that is saying, hi, how can we change the file name of the PDF created when sending a customer invoice? ID would be included in the client name or the reference ID of the file name. Yes, let me check that. There's a way. If you say it's when sending a customer invoice, then it means that one I can close, I think. It's on the SH, that one as well. Let's go back here. Good. You have first to find in the email templates. You have to find the one that we want, and you said it's the invoice, I think. Yes, sending us some invoice. So invoice sending, that's the one. Very good. All right. So what we care about is not the attachment that is a fixed attachment here. It's what we have in the settings with the dynamic report that we have here. You see it's only marked PDF, but so the matter here is to find back the PDF that we are talking about. And that one, it is in the reports that you are going to find it. It's just called PDF, but I'm pretty sure that would be, action name is PDF, so that's why it is that one. So we know it's this one. And then you have the printed report name. And that is why. Yes, we changed that, I think. So the way it is, we find the name. As you can see, it's a method. So we have to get somewhere here, or in GitHub. All right. Up. C'est l'order. Okay, we use the same notion on different places, but what you want is the one that we have here on the account move, and then it's going to give you another name, because we see here it's just a calling of another function. So let's reuse this one. Okay, that's the one we want and have. And then yes, that's why it is that way. Wait a sec. Okay, we are going to, so it's quite long the way we do it. Depending on the state, we use notion of currency, we use notion of the name of the invoice, where if it's not a slash, because a slash means that it's an invoice that is not yet validated, we are going to add the partner ID name, if there's one, a date as well. So a few things that we do. If you don't want to do that, and so it means you don't want to get rid of this, what we can do is, I can try something very basic, like, so I'm going to save this somewhere else, just so that if I'm making a mistake, I can come back to this later. Okay, I have a text file on my other screen. Then I'm going to, let's try this, just object name, okay. I'm saving here, it's just a text field, so it's not going to check what you write. So I could type this, it's not going to ever give me an error. So going back, and let's try this. If I click on preview, okay, only invoices could be printed, but I'm not sure it's going to automatically attach with the preview. I'm never sure about that preview button in the case of adding a PDF. So I will go in my accounting app, invoices. Create a new one. Yeah, and if I don't give anything, it will be as if it was just that, I think. So let's try it. Okay, I have a fake thing, print PDF. Yeah, and there it says false. Did you see that? It's false.pdf. That's because it doesn't have a name yet, because that field is empty. Testing naming. Okay, now it should be giving me that. Yes, now it's testing naming.pdf. So now you can play with the different arguments that you have. On our side, I think that having all of this in just one line was impossible, so that's why we did it that way. But now if you want to have name plus some thing like here plus object.userid.name, so that we have the salesperson name as well, we can try this one. Am I somewhere here? I'm not sure that we have a salesperson. Let's put that here. Let's see. But then you have something that is sometimes, yeah, you see there's my name included inside. That's because I'm the right person. Then pay attention that it doesn't work if I'm doing this. Oh yeah, it's a change of sequence. That is okay. But if I print it, I think, oh, maybe we escape that, or we know. Yeah, we replace it. So I was thinking Odoo is going to fail because it cannot, you cannot have a backslash or a slash in the name of a file, but so Odoo escapes it and puts it as a underscore, so that is correct. So a few things you can do is play a bit with that information here. If you have access to development, then you can be even more inventive and change the way this is generated. That would work also. All right, another question from Bethany on LinkedIn. Hi everyone, I have a question about Odoo and Peppol. For supplier invoicing with a purchase order, how is it done? Let's say we have a PO for 10 computers and we only receive 9 by invoice. What happens? How does Odoo detect what was already written in the PO? For now, it only transcribes what is on the invoice. Is it possible to choose different journals for incoming invoices with Peppol too? For now, we only have one option. I don't know, but we can check. At least there's one thing that I know. Maybe we can add. That's a quick advice. It's true that Peppol is not PO related. It's to me it's invoice related. I'm not an expert in Peppol, by the way, but that's I think something that is very different. And one way of checking that reminder in Odoo, when you go in the apps, do we have something for Peppol? Yes, account Peppol. If I go here and have a look at the module info, usually we have the dependencies. And so it means that when I have Peppol installed, it will rely on EDI proxy client and EDI UBL, so those two modules. And those two modules, I can have a look at them, account underscore EDI something. None of them, I'm pretty sure, will require the purchase module to be installed. And that is usually a good sign that, in fact, those are things that are not related to each other. So here it requires, thanks a lot, Arthur. It requires the accounting module, so, and that I know is not going to require purchase. And the other one, which was, I don't know, was it this one, proxy client? It's the same, only account and certificate. But so it means that Peppol on its own, when it's installed in Odoo, doesn't require to have the purchase module installed. So that's one check. It's not like 100% accurate what I'm saying, because maybe you have a purchase Peppol module that allows you to have the mix of account Peppol and purchase, but then when I type Peppol, I don't see it. So another thing that I could do is check if we don't have a module that has account Peppol as a dependency. So the other search, is it possible to do that? Then it's not under the name of dependency. I guess it would be something different. It's maybe also something that is computed, in which case I wouldn't have access to it. No, we have exclusions, so I guess we have dependencies. Okay, we have that. Now contains account Peppol. We can try that. No, we don't look. It doesn't look like we have one. So it's going to be something that works on its own. So it won't be PO related. But what we do have, and that has nothing to do with Peppol because it works already like that way. We have a three-way match. Maybe it's three like this, or way match. Vendor bill release to pay account three-way match. That's the one I wanted. I can install it, and that is going to be a way. So the three ways are the following: purchase order, deliveries, well, receptions, and invoices, so that you know, okay, what I bought, what I received, what I'm getting invoiced. And that information is something that you can get. So let me go back to the settings here. That notion of three-way match, I'm never sure if it's included as an option in accounting or in purchase. I'm going to start with purchase. Do we have something like this? Yeah, that's the one. We have a small thing here, so we have a bit of documentation. So if you are interested, that's always smart to go there. So we have a bit of bill control, and so you will know from the bill if you received everything. We can make an innocent try like this one. So let's say I'm going to purchase from Henry a few things that are storable, because otherwise I think it won't work. Okay, it is a good ordered quantity, so that should be working. I'm going to ask for 5, and I'm going to confirm that I have a reception order. I will receive some product, and I will receive only 3. Okay, so I validate. I will create a back order, we'll see later. Okay, then creating the bill. It's selecting 3, that is okay, and then you have somewhere, I think, other info. No, it's the auto post. I thought there was, yes, should be paid. So that is what is going to get computed. It's telling you if the amount that you have on the bill matches the amount that is already received. Let me try to change the value manually, saying 4. Should it pay this, saying exception. Okay, so it changed because it knows, okay, if you ask me to only release the amount, the payment for the invoice, based on what you received, then there is an exception, because here it's a bit too much. It's not the exact quantity. And my belief is that if you use Peppol, you are going to receive those kind of bills. Odoo finds the quantity, and then you have to check if that's matching the quantity that you received. And that's how you would do it for that. It's not directly linked to Peppol. And then you had another question about Peppol. That was, I don't remember exactly what, but I remember that I needed to go to the journals. And I don't know if it's directly in the vendor bills or another place that you are going to have that in the advanced settings. Because I'm not sure, and that is really a place where I lack a bit of knowledge. Let me check. Yeah, I'm in a Belgian company, so if we have some Peppol thing, it would be here. Yes. Okay, and it's also usually depending on your customer or vendor. Let's go here. I've been to, I think it was Henry that I used. Yeah, so you can use Peppol here, ask a format. Of course, you need to as an endpoint. And that would, but it's only for customer invoices, not for purchase invoices. So that I'm not sure that we have it. Maybe that part about Peppol specific. There was a webinar that was done by Winand. We can have a look at that. YouTube, Odoo Peppol, or invoicing. Maybe it was, because sometimes that was at the Odoo experience. But sometimes 3 months ago, no, 6 months ago. But you already have a few 5 months, because it was really like a few weeks ago. I should say maybe e-invoicing, because it's more generic than just Peppol usually. That's maybe why. 1 year, 5 months, 5 months, 2 months ago. I need to find it because it's really. Okay. If I don't find it directly, okay. Too bad for me. 2 days ago, no, it's somebody else. There's something like that where we explained this, but I don't know if it was. It was maybe in Dutch, in fact, that I'm thinking about this. So it's maybe not the right language. But you will find things about how it is working for the Peppol side here. Otherwise, in 2 weeks, we have Winand in this show for accounting questions, and I will bother him because he's the king for those kind of stuff. Next question from Christian on LinkedIn. Hi everyone, is it possible to manage commissions to agents via sales commission without the agent having to be licensed user? Let's a quick check for that. And it's not only related to only what you say. It is the following. When you have a link to a field that expect a res user, so a user of the system, it means that it needs to be a paid user. So what you can do is go in the sales. I don't have the commission module installed, but I can do it. Commissions, all right. I install it, and we are going to see the relationship. Is it to a user? To my sense, I'm pretty sure it is. So I will have to check that, but I think it is. Let's see. Now you see we have commissions here. If I go on my commissions, the fact that we have my commission, usually it's not correct what I'm saying, like 100% all the time, but it makes me believe that it does it based on my user that is here. But otherwise, I can go into the commission plans and see test plan up, and then you have salespeople, and then salespeople that you have here. That is it. If I go on debug mode, I think you will see clearly that this one here is a user, REST user. So it will be a paid user, Christian. YouTube, Kapil is asking, hi, we are using self-hosted services, but how can I add Odoo accounting module? It's not related to the self-hosted service. It's related to the fact that you are using the community version. So let me show you that again. That's a good point. Maybe Odoo community vs Entreprise. We are going to find something. All right. And if we go for finance, yes, that shows that accounting, you have invoicing on community, but you don't have accounting. So if you are looking for the accounting module, it's not related to the fact that you are hosted on premise. It's the fact that while hosted on premise, you don't have access, or you didn't pay for an Odoo Enterprise version. If you want this, or it means that you need to have access to, I think I didn't write that properly. It means that you don't have access to this repository that, by the way, you can see here is private, and that is on purpose, because that's also the place where we have a lot of effort that is being done, and that's the only way to get access to this is to go through odoo.com slash pricing thing here. Let me go back to Belgium. Up. And then you need to have a custom system when you are on-prem. And so if you go here, you buy it, you have access to the in self-hosted, you are going to have the possibility to add a GitHub user, add one or several ones in this repository, so that you can download the code and install that accounting on the on-premise. A question from Marwa. How can I let user see is POS only? It's a matter of configuration of access rights. For this, I'm sorry to sometimes use this notion, but I think it's not too bad to sometimes I'm answering quickly, but there's a way longer explanation that is also necessary. Globally speaking, it's about the access right. And talking about the access right, I like to remind you that there's a video that you can find on odoo.com/r/tk. So the place where we have all of our sessions, there's one about the access rights here. It was pre-recorded, but we made a 2 hours session about the access rights, explaining. I won't be able to see it here because I'm not signed in LinkedIn on this browser. But you have a place here where we explain the access rights, so that you can do the following. It's explaining details there. Do I have the point of sale? Yes. The idea is that you need to have kind of a match between people that are mentioned as potential user in the bar here and your user. And that you could do it by, I suppose we have a list of people somewhere. Login user employee, it's not exactly the same. If it doesn't work that way, I may have to create a new field for this. Let me check, because I don't know if we have a user notion here. No, we don't. So knowing this, I just want to have a look at the data model as well of not res config settings. I will have a look at the what we call POS config. So the POS config is what is one POS. So it's a POS station, if you like, and those are the settings that we expect of that POS station. So you see we have quite a few fields. I just want to be sure that we have a user ID something, or current user ID, but that's not the one. Group POS user ID, point of sale user group. self-ordering, okay, current user ID. Okay, maybe we can use this one, point of sale user group. So, no, not really. What you could do, I'm not ultra convinced about that, but we could create a new field on the POS with a list of users that can have access to it. In a way, we have already did that with the notion of employees here, but I don't know if that would be exactly sufficient for what you want, because what your question was to be able to see in the dashboard here, the one that matters. Let me check also. Yeah, here you see the model is post-config. Maybe I can do that. Okay, I'm going to try to cheat a bit the system and we'll see if it works. I'm going to see if I can add a list of users, a new field. I'm going to say, but you said in your question, was it one user or several ones? Let's user. So you said one, so I'm going to take the easy route and say that it should be just one field, and as it's one user per POS. I will add a minute one somewhere. I cannot. Okay. I need to create or to change that view. What would be the best way to do that? Do I have a place where I can change that view or not? View form. Yes. Okay. That is good. Let me check back the point of sale user group. This is no. There's another way to do that. So what it's fun. What Studio does in the end is doing what I'm doing here manually. I will create a new field manually, and I will say user ID. I will say it's a user. Field type would be a minute to one. The user as requested by Marwa. So what I'm doing here is that I'm creating the field manually, and that's what we used to do before the advent of Studio. We created the field like this because anyway, what Studio offers is moving some box that bears the information of what field type we want. Related model. Yes, I need to say it's related to REST users because it's a relational field, so I need to be able to say that. Save and close, save and close. Okay, now, if you see, I have a new field. It is called xUserID. I'm going to try to show it directly. Somewhere here, field name. Again, that's not the right way to do. It should be done with a, how do we call that? With an inherited view. Trying to save this one. It's a strange view, this one. So I'm not sure that what I'm doing is totally correct, but I wanted to illustrate the more like the access right side of things, even though maybe your question can be solved with the employee module because there's a HR link with the POS. I didn't take that route. Maybe it would have been a better one. We'll see. So there I can go here. I'm refreshing the view. Do we have access? Yes, you don't see it. You see it here. So you don't see it simply because the way the view is done, we have a widget. It's directly inside the sheet. So there's not the title of like a string, like a label. There's not that. So it's just because I know that sometimes we put fields just without any label. So I could say that's the one. And this one, it would mean, I'm going to change a few things, that once you're part of that group, you can only see the point of sale that are linked to you or to no one, and that you have tons of examples in the rules of Odoo. So if I go in record rules, one of the rules that I'm always using when I need to demo this is the own something. User can see, we have the groups here, the CRM own leads or something like this. It's maybe not that name now. Yeah, in fact, it's way giving me too much information. I'm going to check for the CRM lead model. Then we see, it's personal, it's not own. So what I can use is this kind of domain, which is saying you can have access to it if you are the user on the POS or if there's no user. So that kind of thing, it's the same, exception made that my field is not called user ID, it's underscore x underscore user ID. And I could be using that as a new rule. rule for Marwa. You could have those kind of things on the POS config and say that for reading purpose, I will have that rule, and I'm going to add it a group name, and that would be for anyone that is in the POS or point of sale. That is a point of sale user. Okay, and I'm saying that you need to be the X user ID needs to be the user ID. Let's try this one, and let's see now. Okay, I can see it because I was part of it, but now if I go back here, if I remove it, it's going to tell me, hey, here you are not doing something that you can, because there's a rule that is called rule for Marwa that prevents you of changing that. What I could do is allow, like not apply this rule on the right so that I can write it and then I won't be able to see it again. So if I do this, I maybe need to refresh. Now I don't see it anymore. Okay, so I would need to remove the read restriction so that I can see it again. And eventually, if I put it again, now I don't see it anymore. So you get the idea. You can have those kind of tricks. I'm not saying it's the best one. Maybe more. You can do more. I'm deactivating this one, otherwise in 1 month or 1 week I will forget I did it and I will struggle for our next demo. What you can do with that is first get to know how the access rights work. I was not sure that the HR possibility would be sufficient because I'm not. I don't know enough about the configuration that we have here around HR, and I think that it is too permissive to what you wanted because it allows you to log and switch between selected employees. It says nothing about what you can see in terms of a different POS. I think that this part is when you are, yes, in the POS interface. It allows you to, in a bar, for example, you have different employees, they can scan something and we know that a ticket was entered by this or that employee. So that is what really matters here. Okay. Another question from Twitch, from Smart2BC Stefan. In Documents Spreadsheet, there's a way to refer to data result in another spreadsheet. Nah, I don't think so. I never tried it, but I don't see where we have that being done. That would be nice, though. The problem is that you may have very, very complicated spreadsheet if you don't do that, but it would be complicated because it would mean that you have then the obligation. We need to manage access right between one sheet that you open and you call from another sheet, and we need to know if you have access to the data that is inside, not only the data but also the spreadsheet. So in terms of access right, that would be quite complicated to manage also. We can try, but I'm pretty sure it's impossible. Let's add something in a spreadsheet. Yeah, new blank spreadsheet, and let's go somewhere else and create a new spreadsheet. Yes, thanks for your attention. Let's go here, reporting sales. Yeah, I don't have any sale. Cool, at least one. Very good. Insert in spreadsheet. New spreadsheet. Okay, can I call another one? But I'm not sure. Usually when you have those kind of things that are not formula related, but Odoo related stuff that you want to accomplish, they start with Odoo. So you can, you see that those are the kind of things you can do. You have access to the lists that you exported, to a pivot that you exported, to some accounting stuff, to filters that you may have when you click on filters, but there's nothing related to other spreadsheets. Do we have some sharing ability that would, yeah. But it doesn't make it possible to load another spreadsheet if you look at spread or load. Or I don't think we have that. You will need to copy paste information or to load the same kind of pivot in the spreadsheet. There's no way you can also. It's a dynamic pivot. Yeah, and those ones are the ones that are pivot that you want to get from another place. Another possibility, I'm thinking about downloading JSON so that you have inside the JSON, you will see the content or the query and the pivot that you get from the place that you initially used to generate the spreadsheet. But taking that information, copy pasting it in another spreadsheet is longer than just doing it through the interface. So I'm not sure that would be possible. I would say that we don't have it, Stefan. LinkedIn Bethany is asking us, how do special taxes work? For example, tax is 21%, but with a 50% reduction. How does Odoo know it's a special tax and not the normal one? Good question. Let's try, because I think that we have that in Belgium for unallowed expenses or something like this. It's, again, not my area of expertise, but we can definitely have a look. Accounting, you have taxes somewhere. Yeah, maybe that one would be a good one for the alcohol luxury, I don't know. Triangular, okay, let me check if there's, because there's one where there's a, I think that's the kind of thing that we want. Yes, that's how it is done. You have different, it looks like you have, instead of having, I'm going to open another one, that is would be a 21% tax. Sorry, for the other ones, 21 is the regular taxes that we have in Belgium. I'm going to open another one here. And you see that usually what we do is that we have a base amount, that is the base on which we are going to apply the tax. So we don't specify an account because that's usually the account that we are going to use on the product sales side. So it's an income account in the case of a sale, or here for purchase, it would be expense account. Then we say, okay, but there should be another amount that is the tax. And here we say 100% of what? Of 21% of the base amount should be put in the account 451, that is VAT payable. In the case of special taxes, where you have 21% tax, but with 50% that you are not allowed to get back, I think, I'm not expert in this again, but I think like some expenses on the car, like in Belgium, like the fuel, I'm not sure you can get 100% of it, or maybe restaurants fees is the same, in which case, then you will end up having this. So you still have the same tax amount, but it's just not put in an account that is recoverable. So I think that's where it would be in terms of configuration. And you see, I don't know if, knowing that you're talking about 21% tax, maybe Bethany, you are from Belgium, but you can check the tax grid codes that are not the same, I think at 8259, yeah, 0354. So it's both ISO sales or it's purchase. I know it's purchase. Of course, it's not the same. Let me check the other one for purchase. Maybe the same. I'm not sure, because what matters is not so much the fact that it is coming from that is going in a different code, but it's that the computation is correct. So 20%, that is French one, VAT merchandise. 8159, 8259. Yeah, so that's maybe why you have this. And 82 in Belgium, if I have a look at the Belgian tax return, what is 82? 82 is miscellaneous goods instead of, okay, that is just a type of service. It says nothing about the fact that it should be 100% non-deductible. So I think the code is not so much important here. What really matters would be, the taxes and the fact that it is, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, that one. Here it's not even the same. It's contractant. You have, well, we can have a look at this as well. You see that here we even move amount of tax between one account and another, and we take into account both on the tax grid. So it really depends what is expected. Usually in a country like Belgium and lots of the neighboring countries, and more everywhere, in fact, we usually have the set of taxes that is necessary for you. There are exceptions though, and you will see that in a few of the other modules that we propose, and maybe that's the time to discuss a bit about that very quickly. You have sometimes, in some cases, extra other taxes. In Belgium, I can tell you about the eco-tax that we have on cell phones and printers and things like that, like everything that contains some electronics, or for which we have some kind of waste management. We want to have a fee that is included in the price of the product, so that we get some funding for recycling those kind of stuff. And those are usually flat amounts, so like it's not a percentage. It really depends on the components that you have, and I don't know how it's fixed by law, but every printer has a small amount like this one. You have other things like the excise on the alcohol, and that one, if you want to have a look, I think that you have a good example on the extra modules that you provide that are the industry modules. It's so long, because every time that we have a discussion, I feel like there are so many things that are around this that I need to explain. If you remember well, a few a few months ago, somebody asked me something about the industries that we have. You see, we have an industry place here, and it's fun because sometimes I feel like I'm a newbie, total newbie at Odoo, because somebody asked me, "Hey, can you demonstrate the industry application?" I was like, "Okay, I know we have an industry place here with all the industries that we have, and there's one about the breweries." I don't know if it's a microbrewery something. So let me try for micro here, and we'll see if it's not this one, it will be another one, but that's okay. And then going in one of those modules, I was struggling to find a place or a quick way to install it. Why is that so? That's because I already had a database installed, and I was struggling to get that module to go on top of what I already used as a database. But there's an easier way to test it on your side. And that's something I discovered last time when I was asked to make a demo. So I was a bit, not stunned, but a bit ashamed, because there's another way to test that even faster. You click on industries here, you click on browse all industries, and from there you can directly start any kind of pre-configured things like bike leasing here, like a cake store, and the one I wanted to show you here is the microbrewery thing. So the list that we have here is the same that we have over there, and yeah, microbrewery, you have it here, and that you see it says buy Odoo Enterprise, but if you want to test it, just go here, start a trial, it will be even faster. Otherwise, on my side, I think one of the solutions I found, which is maybe not correct. Let me check if it's also visible, because I think that it's we have an industry thing here, industry, and it's public. So all those industries things, you will find it here. It's completely public. So that microbrewery, if you're interested in knowing what is inside, you will find it here. So this is equals to this, which is equals to this. So it's the same thing that we are aiming at. And this is what I installed here. And I mentioned all of that. That's where I'm getting, because there sometimes you have a bit of extra configuration in terms of taxes. Right there, you see here you have the deposit, and then we explain. Of course, we don't have the account because I'm not sure, but then you have a fixed amount instead of a percentage. So you have yeah, that one I don't know why it's existing with that amount. Then I'm not sure. I'm not a pro in terms of breweries, but just to mention that sometimes the information you're looking for exists somewhere. Think about other industries that can use the same thing, or simply ask us like today. That's very good as well. And it's a good link because we are going to talk to someone on LinkedIn whose name is Abir. So very, very good transition. Hi, I need to add a task named Ramadan Hours. It is 2 hours from 30 days in time sheet for all employees. How to make it fast? All right. So what you would like to do, it would be an import file. That would be faster. Import file or using a time off module, that would be a possibility as well. Let me check with the time off module first, because although I like the imports, maybe if we have a solution that is a bit better, a bit faster. Let's go here. And we said time off, but I don't have it. So let's go in the apps. Let's install time off. HR holidays. Let's see what it does here. I'm saying this because I think that in HR holidays, there's a possibility, or we use that internally, to mention that sometimes when people book holidays, it should generate automatically X amount of timesheet hours in this or that account. And so your use case makes me think that it's the same. Only difference is that it looks like it's hourly based and not days based. So 2 hours of leave. I'm going to call it that way. Notify, take time off in hours. Include public holiday, show on dashboard. Time off absent. Negative cap. Okay, I don't see it here. Maybe it's an extra module. Let me check that. In the configuration, public holidays. No. So maybe holidays. there's something with a work entry, no, holidays contract, and it should be something related with timesheets. But we have it, project timesheets, yeah, timesheets when on time off. And I thought it would be visible here. Maybe it's in debug mode, I'm not sure. Okay, publication. I had a feeling that we had something like it was asking for a project somewhere here. Maybe we don't have one. Asking for a project where you would book that time. Let's see, milestone, project stage, time management, customer rating, no. Timesheets. Time billing, invoicing, time off. Okay. It's a global. It's here. It's a global thing. It's not per type. So I thought it was here. I guess it was in the past. So that's why I'm thinking about that. But in fact, we are going to log this here in the task that is called time off in that project. So installing this, I think it created that project. So let's have a look at. You don't see it here. I suppose that there's an auto filter. Let's see that. Yes, we say let's not show the ones that are internal. Okay, so that's why we don't see it here. But can I book something manually there? Internal BE company and select. And this one is also with a filter or what? Allow timesheets true. Okay, is time of task false. Okay, so we make sure that people cannot enter time there on their own. So now let's book some time off. For tomorrow, and where is my time of type? Because I see here I don't have it. Time of types, we said 2 hours lived in Belgium. That's fun because apparently allow negative cap. That's maybe because I otherwise I didn't have this requires no limit. Yeah, otherwise I don't have any allocation. Okay. That's maybe no validation. It's going to bother me here because I don't have any. The configuration is not really correct. Operation cannot be completed. The maximum excess amount should be greater than 0. If you want to set 0, disable the negative cap instead. Okay. So negative cap, I'm going to remove. No limit, that's better. Okay, so I suppose now I should be able to take it. Put time off. Let's try again, right here. Yeah, now I have it here. Custom hours. See, from 10 to 12, 2 hours, blah, blah, blah. And then doing this, will it impact my timesheets? Yeah, it's putting that in time off. So either people will do it here, but that's a good point. Then maybe I will go back and say the import is maybe better, telling you why. Here, the thing is that you it will require you to do that several times. So go here, say, okay, I want my hours of leave, custom hours, 2 hours, and always put the same time. Because that means you need to do it for every day during Ramadan. I guess that was the point. Doing this per person means that, if I remember well, it lasts something like 1 month. So potentially you need to do that 20 times because I will exclude the weekends. So you do that 20 times per person. So it's a bit long, while the configuration is exactly the same. So this is maybe better to go here, import records, and always aim at the same project, the same task. Put always 2 hours for all the days that you require, and then copy paste that for every user that you have. That would be faster. So there's a way to do it with the time off, but I think that for 2 hours per day, in terms of selection in the widget, that's going to be a bit too long. All right, another question on LinkedIn from Kuldip. How would you optimize Odoo's performance to ensure scalability and maintain data integrity in a high traffic environment with frequent database transactions? It depends of what we call, we say is high traffic, large volume, and so on and so forth. I don't remember. I think that last week, Fabien discussed about the capabilities of Odoo SH. And just to give you an idea, because when you say that, I don't know what to consider small or big. On our side, we have, remember that he was showing that on On our side, we have 5,000 users on our own Odoo. I can check that just to give you the exact accurate amount, because at the moment I'm checking on the other side in my Odoo on my own computer just to check the amount of employees that we have, so that you have really the exact number. It's almost 6,000, 5,700 employees that we have, and all those employees are users of Odoo. So how do we do that? Go back last week, Fabien is explaining how we have one database and several servers up front with a load balancing that redirects you to different servers. We attack the same database in the end, because usually the part that is a bit slower is not the database, it's the front end, lots of Python included. And so that is how we scale for a larger amount. It's also based on some history. We started to use our own Odoo environment before we had Odoo SH. Now, if we had Odoo SH before we created our own database, would we use Odoo SH? I don't know. I suppose it would scale quite well, because we have, that there's a possibility to have a dedicated environment as well. And we have several clients that have several thousands of users on Odoo SH as well. So I don't know if that is what we are talking about. You can go on Odoo SH and you will see also in terms of, is it in pricing? Yeah, how many people that you can support in terms of workers and concurrent requests. As you can see, additional worker is 5,000 front-end visitors per day. So you really need to have a website with a lot of sales to make this break, knowing that here by default you have a limit to 8, but you can go on a dedicated. Where is it, dedicated place? There must be some place where we have dedicated. Yeah, here, and then you have 32. Even way more. Of course, it's not the same price, but then you can manage way more in terms of visitors. I know that some other big companies also made, and that's another discussion, but it's completely different. I remember that those guys came at the Odoo experience, to talk about IBM Power with another type of architecture. And from what I understood, I wasn't there at the talk. I need to watch it, but I think that they tried to make something that was even more scalable than what we already offer. So that is also a possibility to exploit the Odoo Enterprise and community on IBM. But already Odoo SH can go quite large. And then remember that when we get that question asked, that is usually very generic, there are two things I need to mention in addition to this. It happened in the past that Odoo was a bit slow on some aspects for some clients. What we do is that it's almost impossible to know where it will get slow, because it depends on the use of the client. And every client has at least one or two specific use cases. So what we do in that case is that if we realize things are slow, we are going to adapt the queries that are slow, but it's a case-by-case basis. We did that in the past so that it benefits everyone, because sometimes we create a new module, it works for 99.99% of the people, and then there's one guy or one company that is doing an activity that nobody else does, or the size of the activity is completely different, and so we say, okay, let's figure out how we can make this faster. It will benefit everyone, and their use case is valid, so we need to act faster, because honestly, it's acting a bit slowish. So those are the kind of things that we do, and that is something that you can, if you meet that, if you have that situation, you can contact our support. That's what we are going to work on. Second point that is related to this is that very often people talk in terms of measures, but it's very, very hard to know the impact that an amount of users will have on the software, because every client is different. We have a few guides on the documentation on the amount of workers, the amount of RAM or CPU that you need to have, but anyway, having 5,000 users that use the CRM is not the same as having 5,000 users that use the accounting or the manufacturing with the stock, because the amount of load that is asked to the server is not the same. CRM, it's a very flat object. You don't have a lot of checks. You create leads, you send emails, that's okay. On the stock management side, there is maybe a link with the accounting with the valuation. We need to perform some check about should we regroup some pickings together? Do we have extra conditions on the routes and all the pickings that we need to prepare because the routes are very complicated? Do we have manufacturing on top? Do we have automatic scheduling, MPS eventually in the manufacturing? So that is way heavier in terms of load. So when you say I have a lot of users, okay, but are we talking about CRM and websites, or are we going to talk about manufacturing e-commerce with the accounting that you have in Odoo, plus maybe an API that is going to call Odoo every now and then? And that is a change. So users is not the only thing that you need. And another thing is that, of course, users, they are sometimes in the same country, in which case you have a bell curve with, let's say, a lot of people working around 11 a.m. or 2 p.m., because I include that they have a lunchtime. But if it's on the whole world, then you don't have 5,000 concurrent users at the same time. It's going to be maybe 1 to 2,000 because people will stop working when some others will start, and so that's completely different as well. So those are the kind of things that you need to come up with when we talk in terms of performances. Another question, I'm checking the time, we still have 15 minutes to go. LinkedIn, Dennis is asking us, does Odoo has an app to start recording the business CAS, CAS, business case, then have a project management contil? I'm not sure I understand the question. So recording the business case or business card, but then we talk about business management. So I'm not sure of what you say, Dennis. Can you maybe correct your sentence or rephrase it so that I can understand better? On LinkedIn, we have another one from Chepo that is asking us, can I create a student portal learning management system for a college with Odoo? Yes, you can. You can do that, definitely, I think. And by the way, maybe not only with Odoo. Let me check first, because we have been talking about industries, but I don't know if in other Odoo industries we have something for schools. Let's go there. No, we don't have schools or education. No, we don't have. Well, we have a place there, but for our own education, so it's not that. But in the apps, that's one I can't say I recommend, but I know that we have quite a lot of partners that have been working on the case. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the apps, every time I access the app's website, it's acting a bit slowish today. The time it takes for loading the page is really a bit long. So we'll see that. But if you go there, you type school management, you will find a few ones. And I installed them back in the days, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and there were quite a lot of modules. So it's not a rule per se, but at least it means that people that developed it thought about dividing it in different sub areas. It's usually a good sign instead of having one big module with everything included. But there are things that are done in the community. I see it's really slow, so I'm going to check if we can go on through GitHub. And do we have something about, I don't know if we have something like school management or vertical education. So that you have as well. But when was it? Okay, we still have a few. Do we have something in 16? But let me check, because I'm not sure we have a lot. No, that one is empty, so that would be maybe a wrong idea, because there's a vertical, but it's completely empty. So then don't go there. But Odoo School Management, yeah, you have directly on the App Store. This one, but I see that it is still loading. It's acting slow. I don't know if it's the search feature that is slow, but you will find a few. Yeah, here you have 20,000 downloads, so it's quite a lot. 7,000 here. So you could go and try this one on Odoo SH. That would work. Or download it and try it. It works, I think, well on both Odoo Community and Odoo Enterprise. Okay, next question that we can have from Mahendranath. Oh, I'm sorry, Mahendranatarajan. I'm not sure. I'm very sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Hi, how can we use Odoo inventory? We are purchasing a product in kilograms and selling pieces. Let's take an example of a product A is 70 kilograms pieces and product B is 80. How can we achieve this? How much pieces and how much kilogram we have in inventory? That changes. It will be a new search on my side, because I know in the past it was a bit different, simply because we changed the way of unit of measures, how unit of measures work. I think we discussed that a few. Can you get rid of this one? Yes. Unit of measures and packaging. So I think that you still have the obligation to use the same unit of measures inside a common category. Like you can transform kilograms in grams, because there is a a ratio that is always the same. Like here you have a ton that is a reference unit, you have kilograms. But I suppose that even though we revamped that system, I don't think you can have pieces that are comparable to kilograms now. So let me check that, and I will try again very naively to say pieces from kilograms and say that it's now. As long as you have a quantity like there is a, let's imagine it's half of it. If it's always the same ratio, that's all right, because then you can do that. You can have, and you say the pieces you get from every kilogram is usually half a piece. So that would work, but then it means that it can only be used if you have goods that were considered as being part of the kilograms here, or that are part of that the same category. Because then I don't think that you would be able to convert them into something else. But very, very often, when you change if you want to change the category of unit of measure of a good, you will have to go through manufacturing to transform one product in another. Because in the end, that's the way you want to manage it in your stock will be different, and so you need to say that that is a product managed by the piece, and that is a product managed by kilogram. The example that you could have is in jewelry, for example. Every piece is different. You get one piece, you transform it from one thing that is in maybe in kilo of maybe it's gold or silver, and you transform it into another piece that is the end jewel that you want to propose. You will have the same, by the way. For example, if you add, let's imagine you buy some wire, and the wire they are in a I forgot the name of that, but they're rolled in one piece. You buy that piece, and maybe you're going to sell it by some centimeters. Then you transform. You take a product. You use part of it to create another product. In Odoo, it will be two different products if they are part of different units of measures. On YouTube, we have Alfluence that is asking one question with Odoo Studio: how to modify the Gantt page of appointment module. I would like to invert resource and time. Oh, let's try. I'm not sure it's possible, by the way, but let's try. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll finish with that question, by the way, because I'm not sure it will be done in less than 8 minutes. We'll see. So invert resource and time. It's in the planning module, I guess. Huh? Do I have it? Yeah, I have it. I didn't see it. Planning module. All right. You would like to invert the resource and time. Is that correct? Yes, okay, there's another one that we maybe are going to be able to manage. I don't think you can do that, by the way, because in fact, what Odoo allows you to do, yeah, the Gantt view is pretty fine. Can you go up, Arthur? It was about, just want to yeah, Odoo, that's it here. Yes, Odoo modify the Gantt page of appointment module. No, appointment, sorry. Not planning. Appointments. Let's create a new appointment. Oh, you know what I'm doing with appointment every time? I go on demo so that I already have lots of appointments and I don't need to spend hours defining it. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. Go in debug mode. Cool. Come on. Appointments, then at least I have a few things. And you say modify Gantt page of appointments module. I guess that's what you need is here. Gantt, sorry. But then it's not this one, it's, I suppose, the schedule that you want to change. If it's a Gantt, yeah. Gantt page appointment, we like to invert resource and time. I don't think you can do that. I will have a look at the Gantt view, but I don't think you can change the axis. Default group. Because you have a default group notion here. This is a resource ID, so let me open that again. If I go here, you have the resource IDs, that's what it says. We want it per resource. You have the default scale day, so that is the amount of things that you have here. You could have, I suppose, month, maybe hours, but I don't think you can change that. Certainly not with Studio. But even with a bit of help here, I think it wouldn't work, and that you would have to create a whole new JavaScript widget for doing this. Yeah, and here you see you have a JS class. It's The way this is going to be defined is quite complex. I'm not sure we'll have it here in. No, it will be in Entreprise. How it is done is mostly included in some JavaScript magic that you will have here in JS, where we explain how it is done. Okay, we new Gantt view here. Let me check. I'm pretty sure that the answer is no. Let me check if there's a complement of information that I can give you. No, it's the same place. It's just the naming that we have here. You are going to have a controller. I can go back here. It will be easier. Yeah, the way it is done is defined in JS files where we render something, and I'm pretty sure that here it's kind of hard coded in the module how we want to get it. Let me check if there's a process row. We group by partners, so the way we are going to process stuff is already, we are already saying that it will be per different types of fields, and those fields seems to be already hard-coded, so you cannot achieve what you want without some development. And when I'm saying some, it's not a lot, but a few days. Another question from Adwoa on YouTube. I mistakenly deleted an employee record. How do I undo this action? You cannot, unless you have a backup. So very important. If you do something like, let's go on a contact. I don't know if I can remove one. That guy, let's see. Can I delete you? No, because we have something that's saying, we have a few places where we prevent you to do that. So safe way is usually to archive, but then it's telling me another user, so I can go in the users to do it. It's a portal user, so I can go here and say, okay, let's archive that person or delete it. So archiving is safer, and it goes the same way for products. For example, if you already used it or you don't want to delete it because there are references to that product, we do it on purpose. A few places we don't want you to delete stuff. But if you had an employee and that you deleted it, let's say this one, of course nothing is linked to it, no contract, no place in Odoo where there's a foreign key that we wouldn't be able to delete at the database level, then Odoo will allow you to do that, and then it is gone. It is too late, you cannot do anything else than go back with another backup and refresh the backup. But if it's the backup from yesterday, you will earn that employee in your database, but everything that you created from yesterday until now will be removed. So you have to make a choice of, is it more important to have the employee in your records, or is it more important to keep track of what was done over the last period of time, including since you deleted that employee. So that is a tricky question. Usually I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go for a backup unless it was during the weekend and that you had no activity and that you know that you can safely go back to a backup and that this is better for you, but that's your own decision. Maybe the best way not to have those kind of things is, again, if you create a new employee, I think that you can also archive. Yeah, it's archiving instead of deleting. If you want to be even stricter, change the access rights so that people don't delete things without realizing what they are doing. Odoo is permissive at the beginning, so you can do that. Usually, if you can do it, it means that you didn't have that many things attached to that employee before. So that's why you were able to do it. But we allow those kind of things. Okay. We don't have enough time maybe to cover. I'm checking quickly if we have a... no, there's not one that I can answer very, very quickly. Okay, guys, we are going to stop it for here for now. Oh, this one? Atef is saying, in Odoo 18, I made a mistake by locking the accounting with a date. Now I cannot modify entries before that date. Is there a way to reopen the accounting and removing the lock? Good question. Yeah, just want to be sure because you've been here in accounting log dates. So yeah, you cannot go back. You cannot technically go back from the interface. If you have access to the database or if you know how to do it from the server actions, you could potentially change it. Would be very, very careful about that. From the interface, it's intended to work that way. Like you lock. But if you really are in trouble because of this, one of the things we usually advise is take contact with us on the, if you're a partner, especially on the partner email address that we propose. And if you have a pack, we can help you do that, but it's not doable through the interface. It's something that you need to know some magic of Odoo to be able to do that. But we are going to challenge you to be sure that it is necessary and that it is not worse than what you have done so far. All right, now is the time to stop the session. We still have a lot of questions. Thanks a lot for your interest. We see each other next week. Again, lots of questions, prepare everything. And in 2 weeks, I think we'll have Winand explaining us about the e-invoicing. Have a good Thursday. Spend a good time during the weekend and see you next week. Bye-bye, guys.